Hello, all. This is George Shears, Dorothy's grateful little brother, and in the following PowerPoint presentation, I intend to offer an extended prayer song of deep gratitude in memory of and as a tribute to our dearly beloved Dorothy, who completed her long earthly journey with us early on the morning of October 24th, 2022. How elegantly fitting it is that I am blessedly privileged to share in this process of soulful, holy communion with her on this last day of October, All Souls Day. Hallelujah! What incredible, great planning, Dorothy. In offering this long introduction, I earnestly hope that I don't put you to sleep. I want to convey here my two very important and mutually reinforcing aims in sharing this heartfelt memorial here. First and foremost, I want it to express effusively how wondrously I have been blessed by our dear Dorothy throughout my entire life. And I know this is equally true for all others who have been privileged to know her. Secondly, I want to share, as fully and clearly as ordinary words permit, a very simple and yet highly liberating view of ultimate reality that very has been very spiritually nourishing for me. This personal perspective has recently been deepened greatly and clarified by my exposure to the late great sage Peter Brown. His many years of deep spiritual exploration culminated in his overarching view of what he came to call radiant presence. I've resonated very strongly to this view, which has also been reinforced a lot by my in-depth exposure to John Aston, another contemporary kindred spirit. Very significantly here, I strongly regard my lifelong loving communion with Dorothy to have exemplified this radiant presence in many, many ways. Moreover, it seems to offer an ideal way to continue our deep, soulful communion with Dorothy in the formless realm, heaven, in other words. I therefore want to integrate this very liberating perspective into our loving prayer of ongoing great gratitude for and holy communion with Dorothy's beautiful soul. Words, however, provide very weak brew in trying to describe this transcendent, radiant presence. At best, they can only serve as proverbial quote unquote fingers pointing at the moon. I hope then that the following verbiage will help, at least a little bit, in pointing out this self evident secret hiding in plain sight. It's important, firstly, to recognize that our notions of time and space are useful human inventions, much like our endless other inventions. Ultimately, however, they are nothing more than useful fictions. In ultimate reality, which is the only reality there is, only the eternal now exists. It changes continuously in an unbroken flow. It is, however, seamlessly unified, much like an infinite ocean. We humans, all other life forms, and actually all forms that we experience and call, quote unquote, the world, are infinitely and seamlessly interrelated and interdependent. All of these continuously changing unified forms of experience can ultimately be understood in their essence as vibratory waves of light, or, to use Peter Brown's more elegant term, radiant presence. Effectively, then, absolutely all forms, living and non-living, are essentially formless, radiant light entering into the world of form through infinitely diverse gateways. Or, to use Christian religious terminology, they are all unique expressions in form of God's infinite being. I'm sure that this is exactly what William Blake was pointing to in his well-known poem, Auguries of Innocence. Quote, to see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. To shift into the profound perspective that Blake invites us to here is to recognize, albeit tentatively at first, that absolutely all forms that superficially appear to be completely separate from each other are actually all potentially unique gateways into the universal radiant presence of infinite ultimate reality. Accordingly, in the final few slides that focus on honoring Dorothy's continuing unique journey in the formless ultimate reality, commonly called heaven, I've chosen some particularly beautiful forms of great nature's radiant presence to show how we can continue to experience Dorothy's ongoing presence whenever we also fully savor the amazing grace of nature's great beauty in any and all of its endlessly diverse forms. I personally regard all such natural beauty as heavenly manna that we all need to nourish our souls adequately. As part of this nourishing process, then, may we also continue to honor Dorothy's deep love of such heavenly beauty. In this communal prayer of gratitude, then, I will do my best to sing the highest praises to Dorothy, utilizing the very limited audio capacity offered through PowerPoint, as well as my aged voice. Dorothy has obviously served as a particularly radiant beam of divine light for all of us. I invite all who watch and listen to this extended prayer of grateful Holy Communion, then, to recognize and celebrate the abundantly clear pictorial evidence of the loving, radiant presence that Dorothy has shared so generously with all of us. I've intentionally arranged most of the photos non-historically to emphasize that, irrespective of time, each of them represents an awesome instance of this radiant presence in the eternal now. You may notice that as the presentation evolves, I place an increasing emphasis on this radiant presence rather than on the particular names and dates of the photos. My very sweet niece, Kelly, bless her generous heart, has kindly shared the vast majority of these photos from her extensive, very loving archives. I invite all who hear these words to join me then wholeheartedly in this extended prayer. It will be an a cappella rendering of the song, that I originally composed to honor Dorothy's 95th birthday. I have repurposed it here slightly as a loving memorial to her very long and compassionate life. So now, finally, let this communal prayer of deep gratitude unfold into form in the eternal now. Oh, Dorothy, Dorothy, our dearest sweet Dorothy, you've been our beloved gift from God. We've gathered here to sing our very highest praises for your long and loving life that we now applaud. In an eagle's nest they found you. That's what we've all been told. And we're also now quite certain that that nest was solid gold. You have been so deeply loving, your kindness very rare, your thoughtfulness for others has blessed us beyond compare. Oh, Dorothy, Dorothy, our dearest sweet Dorothy, you've been our beloved gift from God. We've gathered here to sing our very highest praises for your long and loving life that we now applaud. You've been our inspiration. You've shown us day by day how to face life's many hardships that always seem to come our way. You have taught us how to savor the simple joys of life and how to quickly banish whatever brings us strife. Oh, Dorothy, Dorothy, our dearest sweet Dorothy, you've been our beloved gift from God. We've gathered here to sing our very special praises for your long and loving life that we now applaud. You braved the Great Depression and many, many wars without any indoor plumbing. You often had to go outdoors. You have cherished Mother Nature by planting many trees. You've grown many, many gardens through much toil down on your knees. Oh, Dorothy, Dorothy, our dear sweet Dorothy, you've been our beloved gift from God. We've gathered here to sing our very highest praises for your long and loving life that we now applaud. You've taught us to be grateful for the many ways we're blessed. You've shown us how to hold our ground whenever we're oppressed. You have bravely been our leader in facing every foe. You've shown us how to never ever wallow in our woe. Oh, Dorothy, Dorothy, our dearest sweet Dorothy, you've been our beloved gift from God. We've gathered here to sing our very highest praises for your long and loving life that we now applaud. As you abide now in eternal light, may you deeply rest in peace. And while dancing with the angels, may your deep joy never cease. We will always be united, like sunbeams with the sun. And though you've left this world of form, in deep love we're always one. We know that you're still with us, shining brightly here and now, and to abide here always with you. May this be our holy vow. Yes, to abide here always with you. May this be our holy vow. May you rest eternally in deep peace, our dearest sweet Dorothy. I love you very, very much. Bye for now.